Japanese authorities have warned that strong aftershocks could continue over the next few days. Despite this, some Hong Kong residents are heading for Japan as planned. Hiba Khan has the details.
Currently, there are no direct flights from Hong Kong to Kumamoto. However, flights to nearby cities like Fukuoka, which also felt tremors and had hundreds of people evacuated, have been running as scheduled. Most travelers flying to Japan are going to either Osaka or Tokyo, which is quite far from stricken areas. They believe the responsibility of taking appropriate safety measures falls on themselves as they choose to continue their trip despite the earthquake.
We normally check the SNS or internet homepage information, so I got the information by myself. This is something on responsibility we check.
I'm sure the Hong Kong government have been, they have been, we will be able to watch on the news, and we know all the residents here, we know what is going on to Japan. So if all the passengers were taking all our responsibility to travel or not, this is all for, our own.
Most people we have spoken to are headed towards other parts of Japan and aren't too worried about experiencing an earthquake. One family headed for Fukuoka, however, are somewhat concerned but believe it won't affect their trip too much.
I'm kind of concerned because I'm afraid it will have an earthquake again. Because it's my first time going to Fukuoka and I've been looking forward to it for a long time, so I hope I can go and there will not be an earthquake. My mom bought insurance and I am less concerned about the earthquake.
The Hong Kong Federation of Insurers reminds residents to pay attention to the coverage limits of their travel insurance. Selena Lau, the chief executive of the federation, stresses that different insurance companies have different definitions of disaster-affected areas, and citizens should check with their insurance providers whether they are covered. Hiba Khan, TVB News.
The Hong Kong government will officially take over the Hong Kong port area at the new Huanggang port on Friday. The checkpoint would open as early as September, while authorities have scheduled pressure tests and anti-terrorism drills next month. Luna Bai has more.
The Huanggang Port Area Ordinance takes effect this Friday, marking a formal handover to Hong Kong authorities. Chief Executive John Lee says the government will complete this installation of facilities as soon as possible before announcing an opening date once everything is ready. The new Huanggang Port building is expected to begin operation as early as September. Both Customs and Immigration have been preparing for it. Customs has transported clearance equipment to the site, with installation and testing expected to take around 2 weeks after the handover. Immigration has installed its e-channels and will activate the system once the ordinance takes effect. As a new Huanggang port will adopt a new joint inspection one-stop clearance model, allowing travelers to complete immigration procedures in a single process. Immigration officers need to conduct on-site trial operations before the checkpoint opens. Former Director of Immigration Lai Tong-ko says, the new model involves close coordination between Hong Kong and mainland officers, so the on-site rehearsals would help identify procedural issues and ensure smooth border clearance. Authorities plan to conduct pressure tests, major incident and anti-terrorism exercise at the new Huanggang port as early as August the 21st. To prepare for the opening, the Immigration Department will redeploy officers from other boundary checkpoints, while also recruiting retired personnel on one-year contracts, with posts available up to the rank of Chief Immigration Officer. Customs will also hire retired officers as assistants to manage travelers' flow. Luna Bai, TVB News.
An ophthalmologist accused of professional misconduct during a laser eye surgery 15 years ago was cleared of mishandling the operation after the Medical Council of Hong Kong decided to offer no evidence against him. Timothy Lee tells us more.
At the hearing organized by the Medical Council pertaining to complaints submitted against Dr. Yu Man-kit, the involved parties were represented by their legal teams. The case dates back to 2010, when Yu was suspected of performing a bilateral LASIK surgery on the complainant without providing an adequate explanation on the possible risks and complications surrounding the operation. The complainant subsequently suffered from recurrent corneal erosion. Yu was also accused of performing a keratectomy on the patient, or the surgical removal of part of the cornea, without offering other treatment suggestions. A professional misconduct complaint was submitted against him the following year. In 2016, the Medical Council notified Yu that a hearing on the matter was set to take place in May 2018. But prior to the hearing, Yu expressed skepticism over the relevant evidence in the case and applied for the case to be remitted to the Preliminary Investigation Committee. Upon reviewing the case, the committee declared that the hearing will proceed. Yu applied for a second remittance, which was only rejected 5 years later. He then applied for a judicial review last year, claiming that the Medical Council delayed the case for 14 years, adding that the incident has threatened his reputation and had caused him great disturbance. After 15 years since the start of the case, the Medical Council officially began the hearing on the matter, during which the prosecution decided not to offer evidence against Yu. Yu was ultimately cleared of his misconduct charges. Alex Lam, the chairman of Hong Kong Patients' Voices, believes the case's significant delay could have greatly affected the memories of both complainant and other witnesses, adding that the incident has likely affected the public's perception of the Medical Council. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
The Federal Communications Commission in the U.S. says it will issue a ban on imports of foreign-made humanoid robots and four-legged quadrupeds over cybersecurity and national security risks, in a major escalation of its efforts to keep China's frontier technology out of the American market. Danny Zhou has the story.
The ban that the FCC announced on Tuesday will cover new models of humanoid robots, quadrupeds, also known as four-legged robot dogs, and foreign-made power inverters. Its chairman, Brendan Carr, argued in a statement that the move was meant to secure America's critical supply chains, citing vulnerabilities that these advanced robots equipped with artificial intelligence pose to the U.S. The United States has been working to keep Chinese technology out by weighing a series of restrictions on imports, including drones and open-source AI models from the country. Analysts say its latest measure will deliver a direct hit to China's robotics industry, which is rapidly gaining ground and accounts for about 85% of humanoid deployments globally. Senior fellow at the New America think tank, Sam Sachs, notes it's a steady drumbeat of potential flashpoints heading into the Trump-Xi summit planned for September. China's foreign ministry blasted the move. Spokesperson Mao Ning said China has consistently opposed the U.S. practice of overstretching the concept of national security to suppress Chinese companies. Separately, the Ministry of Commerce in Beijing on Wednesday strongly deplores the U.S. Defense Department's announcement to put some Chinese research institutions, including Shanghai's Fudan University, on a sanctions list, blasting it again as an overstretch of the concept of national security. The ministry stresses the sanction undermines the exchanges and cooperation between the two countries' scientific communities and runs counter to the global trend of international collaboration in technological innovation. A spokesman urges the U.S. side to cease baseless smearing of Chinese research institutions and promptly correct the mistakes. Danny Zhou, TVB News.
Speaking at the funeral of Senator Lindsey Graham, who died earlier this month, U.S. President Donald Trump remembered him as someone who became a constant fixture of American politics at the highest level and a force to be reckoned with all over the world.
For more than 30 years, nothing of consequence happened in this Capitol without Lindsey Graham knowing about it. Nothing of significance happened anywhere in the world without Lindsey Graham having a view on it, and no bill became law in the most exceptional republic in human history without Lindsey Graham having a say in it. He was a man who gave America the full measure of his good and mighty heart until that heart itself just gave out. But even though Lindsey's life was cut short while he was still so full of vim and vigor, there can be no doubt that he lived absolutely to the fullest. He died doing the work he was born to do. He was truly a great politician, serving the country he loved to serve so deeply.
The casket carrying the late Senator Lindsey Graham arrived at the Washington Cathedral Tuesday afternoon following a service for the late Republican senator at the U.S. Capitol. Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu and Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky joined American political leaders and others at the service, a nod to Graham's role as a foremost believer in the power of the U.S. and its military to intervene in the world's problems. Back locally, the Food and Environmental Hygiene Department arrested 14 people in Mongkok on suspicion of illegal hawking. Memo Sengai reports.
Since July 17, the Food and Environmental Hygiene Department, or FEHD, has launched an operation across the city targeting illegal hawking activities. As of Tuesday, authorities arrested 14 people aged between 38 and 76 on suspicion of selling food without a license on Tomei Road, Mongkok. The suspects were allegedly seen selling a wide array of food, including fish, bread, lunchboxes, and milk. Among the 600 kilograms of food seized, the department says 83 kg has an unknown origin. Asked if Hong Kong has seen an increase in illegal hawking activities, the department says there has been a drop, stressing that authorities adopt a reasonable approach to handle unlicensed hawkers who are elderly or disabled.
However, the department stressed that if the sale of food from unknown sources, expired food, prohibited or restricted high-risk food by unlicensed hawkers is involved, the department will adopt a zero-tolerance approach, including immediate arrest without prior warning.
Under the Public Health and Municipal Services Ordinance, unlicensed hawkers can receive a maximum fine of $5,000 and a 1-month jail sentencing on first conviction. For repeated offenders, the penalty will be a fine of $10,000 and 6-month jail sentencing. Mamas 9, TVB News.
Sensor devices have been installed on the front doors of 104 elderly single and couple households in Lok Wah South Estate under a joint project by the South Kowloon Lions Club and the Lok Wah South Care Team. JUL reports.
The sensor devices can track whether a door is open or closed within a set time, usually 48 hours. If the door does not open or close in that time frame, the device automatically sends an alert to designated contacts, reminding them to check in. 76-year-old Mr. Zhang, who has lived alone since his wife passed away, said that when he worked as a security supervisor, he once found an elderly person who had passed away at home 4 days before. That experience deeply affected him. And he had long thought about how to protect the elderly living alone. He said this device now makes that idea a reality. As of last month, the system had issued 226 alerts. Among them, 46 required door-to-door checks because designated contacts could not be reached, and 13 were referred to the housing department when a situation could not be clarified. Most alerts were due to sudden hospitalization or travel, and all cases were eventually confirmed safe.
This device is free of charge, and the user has to pay any money.
He also added, the device does not store personal information and only tracks whether the door is open or closed. The project was launched last October. The care team will continue to improve its alarm response procedure and strengthen communications with family members to provide more comprehensive support for the old. Jolie, TVB News.
And that's the news. Just a reminder that tomorrow's main news will start at 7:35 p.m. as Pearl will carry live the last day of the Fencing World Championships. Join us then.